Rifted, Episode 3.
Why are you here?
I'd like to make a deal, Aurora. I thought that giving you a second chance would be fair to you, after all that's happened. Though, I suppose this is well beyond your second chance, isn't it?
Why? What more could you get from me? I have nothing left.
You seem to be the most upset about this whole unfortunate ordeal out of anyone.
Of course I am.
Mind your tone. I came here to offer you a chance at freedom, and now I'm having second thoughts. It was surprisingly easy to convince them.
Of what?
A madman, aided by the horrors of the rift, slaughters an innocent patrol. Oh, they lapped it up, believe you me. Perhaps people were eager to—
You have your villain. You took everything from me. What else do you want?
It would be a waste to allow you to rot in this prison for the rest of your life. I know you certainly can agree with me on that. Can't you?
No.
Your dramatics are certainly something, but I am only here to ask one small favor of you. Admit to killing the Dravara. Say you snapped like we all knew you would, and I will set you free. No one west of here will know what happened. It's a simple solution to our rather complicated problem.
Why?
Keeping the illusion alive is rather important, Aurora. You would be surprised what people believe when it's spoken by someone they trust. Your freedom, in exchange for a few white lies, seems fair enough, correct?
But what does that gain you?
We are getting off track. What do you think? I will give you all the time you need to decide, don't worry.
And what if I refuse?
You just can't make this easy, can you?
What if I refuse?
We have ways of ensuring you don't ruin things for me.
Please, that would be too easy for you, and you enjoy making people suffer. So I'm going to ask again. What if I refuse?
What do you think happened to the last traitor who sided against the Dravara? You don't honestly think we killed him, do you?
I don't follow.
Honestly, I was disappointed how quickly he snapped. Of course, we didn't let him die, but he was eventually let go. I doubt he's still alive, but as I was saying before, we have methods of ensuring our safety.
Torture, then?
I do what is necessary to protect the Dravara.
It's inhumane.
Oh, thank you, Aurora, for your input, but I don't have time for this. I have other things to attend to besides you.
No.
Excuse me.
You're offering me freedom and entire death too late, so no is my answer. I didn't kill them, and I'm far from willing to go along with your lie.
You have your life, and in 3 months' time you will wish you were lacking even that much. Good luck, Aurora. Someone will come for you.
I do hope you come back to visit me.
Goodbye, Aurora.
Can you stop that? It's bad enough being thirsty without having to hear you. Please? Stop it!
Aurora moved to slide down against the wall. The drumming was only growing lower, and his hands clapped over his ears harshly. Had it not been for the light that flashed across his face as the door opened, he wouldn't have ever heard the heels of her shoes. He brought his hands away, standing slowly again and crossing his arms in front of his chest.
I wouldn't open that door if I were you.
You know I'm not afraid of you, Aurora.
Perhaps not, but I'm no longer restrained, and I won't be responsible.
Don't worry, I won't be here for long. I'm offering you one last chance.
How many times do I—
You have refused, yes. But I assume things haven't been pleasant for you.
Why do you care?
Do you know how long you're able to survive without water?
Daniel scolded me about this once.
A few days at most, and you have been here for 2 already.
Bored of your toy already?
I'm not without mercy. No matter what you believe, I am capable of compassion. Both of us are the same in that regard, capable of things others wouldn't believe. No one knows we both were abandoned when we needed kindness the most.
I don't care what they think of me, and I don't care what you have to say to me.
Fine, rot in here for all I care. That was out of line. All I want—
Do you want me to beg? Please, strike me down where I stand. Is that enough? Or should I get on my knees for you?
Oh, mock me all you want, but there have been men better than you who've said the same. One in particular. Do you know why?
Enlighten me.
He didn't deserve the relief. Everyone has their breaking point, Aurora, and some may last longer than others.
I'll show you mine. You show me yours?
Enjoy the rest of your days here, Aurora. We will meet again, but it won't be any time soon.
Oh, but I'll be so lonely. If you're looking for a challenge, I'll give you one. Stop it. Please.
Officer Norton? Officer Norton? Can you hear me?
Spinning. Where am I?
I'll take that as a yes. You're okay, just lie down. There was an accident, sir. Do you remember anything?
Should I? How did I get here?
I'm sure someone will explain it to you, but I don't think it's my place to talk about it.
It?
Sir, I'll call for someone. They should be right outside, okay? I'm sure someone else can explain—
No, don't go. What happened to me? As chief officer, I order you to tell me.
Just stay here and drink this. I'll be right back.
Where is Aurora? He was with me, wasn't he?
That's part of the problem, sir.
What do you mean? Aurora isn't hurt, is he? Answer me, please. I don't know what's going on.
I'm sorry, sir. I was told specifically not to say anything to you when you woke up. Should I call someone now? She said she'd come when you—
She?
Rowena, sir. She said— Wait, sir. Please don't try and get up. You're going to hurt yourself.
Was she with us? Relax. I don't need to be watched like a child.
I'm sorry, sir. It's just orders.
A mirror caught his attention then, drawing his eyes away from the boy's face and to the wall to his left. Bandages, white and wrapped tightly around his head, marked with crimson on one side that had long since faded to something that was closer to an ugly shade of brown. There was a scratch running along his jaw and another beneath his eye, scabbed over and dull.
Sit down, please. I'll try and explain as best I can until someone comes.
I'm going to be sick.
Please sit.
Daniel stumbled back to the bed, sitting down heavily once more.
You've been unconscious for a few days. You were leading a border patrol and Aurora followed you. Some of the other officers were concerned and went out after your party, but by the time they got there—
What happened?
Sir, I really don't think...
Tell me what happened, or I'll be sure you're shoveling horseshit for the rest of your sentence. Do you understand me?
They were dead, sir. The whole party was dead.
What do you mean? There were close to 20 of us. They can't just... They didn't all die.
There was one other, but... Well, like I said, sir, that's part of the problem.
I would like to speak to Officer Norton, please. Thank you for your assistance while I was away.
Right. I hope you feel better, Officer Norton.
Thank you.
Sit. Would you like me to get you anything?
No, thank you.
I assume you were given a basic understanding of what happened. Do you remember anything at all? They were rather worried about you, but I must say I didn't expect you to be on your feet so soon.
Where is Aurora? The boy started saying...
He shouldn't have been saying anything at all. I do hope he didn't say anything too devastating, did he?
What happened to us?
I really can't put this delicately.
He sat up quickly, vision spinning to the point where he was certain he was going to...
Daniel, look here. You have to take things slowly. Lie down for a while and get some rest. I can come back later.
The boy told me Aurora was alive, but I don't remember.
He's alive, yes. I have no right to keep anything from you. Like I had ordered you to do, you led a retrieval party to send a group back east. Aurora insisted on joining, and...
How did he know about them?
I told him. It was a mistake, but I didn't think things would go so far. I told you this once, don't you remember?
Vaguely. But why did he want to come along?
I'm not sure anyone, even you, could have known why he wanted to come along. The gates were ordered to remain closed, but you know how persuasive Aurora can be.
He threatened the gatekeeper.
Precisely, but that's not the point. Once he left the stronghold, he tracked down your party. He...
Is he here?
I've never seen a slaughter quite like it. I assume he aligned himself with the creatures of the rift based on the damage. He nearly killed you.
That's not funny. What kind of a joke?
I truly wish I was lying to you. For the sake of those killed, I really wish I was. We were wary of him and his actions, fearing something would happen, but I never knew it would be something like this.
No, just take me to him. There's something wrong here. Aurora is many things, but he's not...
Norton.
He's not that!
I understand your grief, but I don't appreciate being interrupted every moment I try to speak to you.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm so sorry, Norton. None of this ever should have happened.
Aurora may not be perfect, but he's my friend. More than that, even. Where is he? Let me speak to him. I can figure out what happened.
If this had happened anywhere else, he would have been executed, but instead he was locked away. You should be happy, and forgive me for how insensitive this sounds, but you should be glad it didn't happen elsewhere.
Just let me speak with him. Please.
Rowena placed an unsettlingly cold hand over his.
Daniel, who are you going to believe? Me or him?
You, rat. Piss off.
Aurora climbed to his feet, knees aching as he made his way across the cell, only to return to the very same spot. His arms stretched over his head, tugging until there was something of a satisfying crack, and he groaned at having to move again.
Got nothing better to do but bother me, do you? I don't have any food for you, sorry to say.
He swung himself forward against the bars, then back, and back again and again, until he finally stopped himself to rest his forehead against one of them. A smile cracked across his lips, and he laughed, stumbling backwards and throwing his arms in the air.
Find something better then! Am I dying in here? I'm not sure I want to, but I don't know. I really don't. No, I don't. I've decided. Hear that? I don't want to die, rats.
Yes?
I won't trouble you for very long.
I don't mind. I get bored. I'm feeling better. Not completely fine, but well enough.
Well, you aren't completely fine. In fact, you were very lucky there was no lasting damage.
You mean besides memory loss?
I've heard rumors, and I would like to dispel them.
What rumors?
Are you leaving us? If this is about Aurora, I can assure you he will no longer be a problem.
I know, but I can't say I'm leaving for sure. But I've been thinking about it for a while. I've served for nearly 6 years, most only stay for 2.
You know you are welcome here, always. Some of my more experienced officers have a hard time adjusting to the world again.
I know, but I don't think I can stay here anymore. I stayed so long for Aurora, and I don't want to leave you.
Don't blame yourself. We all knew what would happen to Aurora eventually.
Did we?
Rest. You should be able to leave within the next day if you do, but if you'll excuse me, I should be getting back to work. Organizing patrols is much more difficult than I remembered. My father was always better at this than I. When he led, things were much more... well, I'm not sure how I would put it.
I never met your father, did I?
No, you never did. I was too young to take charge right away, but Benjamin eventually relinquished his rank to me. In honor of my father, I suppose. It was a kind gesture, but seeing how close he and my father were, it wasn't exactly a surprise.
In honor of your father?
I do believe I've told you this story before.
I'm sorry. You don't have to again, then.
It's a shame. Things get rather dull without you here, Norton. I do wish you would stay.
I'll think about it more.
Do. In the meantime, try not to think about Aurora.
Officer Norton?
You really don't have to call me that. I'm retiring, remember?
I know, but I just thought you'd like to keep it. Most of the officers seem proud of it, but I was asked to help you.
Tell Rowena I'm perfectly fine on my own. I just want to be left alone. Please.
Of course, sir.
Can I help you?
If it helps at all, I don't think your friend killed those men.
What isn't there to believe? Aurora...
I didn't mean anything by it, sir. I wasn't trying to say anything wrong, but I just think, well, maybe we don't know everything. That's all.
That's a dangerous thing to say.
You
aren't trying to start rumors now, are you?
No, ma'am. I'm not trying to start anything. I was just talking to Officer Norton about his friend and... didn't mean anything. I'll get back to work.
The boy was gone then, disappearing out of sight, and Daniel looked up at the other officer. She smiled, a huff sounding from her as her eyes turned to him.
We're all sad to see you go, Norton.
I want to say I'm sorry to be going, but I'm not sure that's entirely true. Assuming you've heard I was leaving.
We all did. Rowena let all the officers know.
I'm sorry to leave so quickly, I can't stay.
Don't worry. We've got things handled.
Does she have anyone to replace me already?
Heard talk of a younger officer. Harriet is her name, if I remember correctly. Know her?
No, I don't think so. Ugh. Goddesses. Need to remember to stop touching my head.
How is it?
The head? Not great.
Should you really be leaving so soon, then?
I can't stay.
Is she giving you a place to go?
A cottage out west.
Well, I can see why you're leaving us.
I just can't...
I understand. It's hard staying when you know you could be out there. You don't have to explain. No one is faulting you for leaving. You lived through something that few of us would have been able to. No one blames you, Daniel.
Thank you.
He looked down the rows of stables, wondering where the boy had gone before his eyes rose back to the officer once more.
Will you do something for me?
Of course. What do you need?
Be sure she knows about what you heard earlier.
It might be for the best she doesn't.
Please.
All right.
Daniel led his horse from the stables, saddlebags packed with what few things he owned, and some he didn't. Some he'd thought to collect from Aurora's room.
Officer Norton, sir, will you allow us to escort you to the border?
I'd rather go alone. You tell Rowena I've gone.
One of the men nodded while another gestured up towards the top of the keep where the image of a figure stood between the glass eyes of the windows. Daniel couldn't bear to look for long, attention returning to ahead of him shortly after he caught sight of her.
Good luck to all of you.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Bye,
Safe
Officer
travels.
Norton.
Daniel drove his heels against his horse's side, glancing behind him only briefly. A ghost of a figure stood atop the archway, staring down at him for a moment before disappearing the moment he blinked.
You know you are welcome here, always. Leave him.
Aurora rose swiftly, pushing himself up on one arm and staring down at the blood drooling from his mouth, puddling on the ground beneath his shaking body.
Look at him go. Not done yet, are you, you vexing piece of shit?
Vex it all.
Rolling his head sideways, he reached shakily for a bowl, hands quivering too harshly not to spill most of it on the stone around him. Blood clung to his tongue even after he'd finished the bowl, half tempted to swipe up what he could from the floor, but knew most of it had already bled away down the stone. His head was lifted by his blood-streaked hair, ripped upward to where he was peering into her eyes, or so it seemed.
Aurora, are you still with us?
You can't hurt me.
I believe I just did.
Not you. Them. You're not even real, are you? Oh, you're not real.
Oh, what are you talking about?
You're not real. You're not.
Let me go!
Come to bring me a companion. How kind of you.
Quiet.
The lantern, carried by one of the men, brightened and he stepped forward cautiously, narrowingly catching something thrown to him through the bars. He looked down, hurriedly unwrapping the bundle and finding something that resembled a bit of dried fish and half a bruised apple. Aurora smiled, looking up to the man and nodding appreciatively.
Changing tactics, are we?
Rowena sends her regards.
He ventured closer, leaning against the bar separating them and frowning.
Keep away from me!
I can't exactly come much closer. I may be able to do a few things, but pass through metal isn't one. If I could, I would have been out of here long ago.
The figure got to their feet clumsily, unsteady and shaking as they leaned back against the wall behind them.
I can't see you. It's too dark.
What's your name?
Lucius, why does it matter to you?
Aurora frowned, folding the cloth back over the bundle again and turning to the boy quaking against the stone.
Hungry?
Lucius looked up, hood covering most of his face aside from one of his eyes that simply narrowed before he nodded unsurely. Aurora tossed it through, watching as the other prisoner slid over to it and pulled the bundle into his lap.
You sure you don't want it?
I'll survive, and you seem to need it more than I do.
Aurora waited, staring off into the dark again until the cloth was tossed back to him, apples still very much untouched.
I don't like apples much, but thanks.
I'm mostly indifferent about them. But it pays not to be too picky here. Besides, I think they're trying to poison me.
Why would you give it to me then?
I said they were trying to poison me, not you. I'm certain that, if they are, it's specific to me. I eat the fish just fine, so do the rats. But I don't trust some of the other bits.
Can poison be specific to one person?
If it's Rowena we're talking about, she'd find a way.
What did you say your name was?
I didn't say it, but Aurora. Why?
I think we met once.
I don't remember. Did we talk?
You told me to go away. I'm not sure that counts as talking.
The darkness made it difficult to see the boy clearly, but he could pick out the reddish color of his hair and the gray-green of his one visible eye. He turned his head then, facing Aurora for the first time and revealing a nearly swollen shut eye and a bloody gash along his cheek.
It's bad, isn't it?
I've certainly seen worse.
I shouldn't have run.
You're a runaway?
No, I knew some things, and they didn't like that. I told someone about it, mentioned something, you know.
You're hurt.
Lucius's teeth grit as a hand slid down over an obvious dark, ruddy stain on the leg of his pants.
You're hurt.
No, it's nothing. Just a scratch or something.
Sit down and stop moving. You're going to hurt yourself worse.
I'm scared. No, not just scared. I'm terrified. I can't just sit here and wait for... I don't want to die. There has to be some way out of here, right?
Anyone with half a brain is afraid of one thing or another.
Well, what are you afraid of?
Honestly, I'm afraid that one day I'll die.
Actually, I'm trying really hard not to think about dying right now.
You didn't let me finish. I'm afraid they will celebrate knowing that someone like me is dead, because people like me don't deserve to live. I'll die someday, and that's all they'll ever see me as. Something that should have never lived in the first place. I'm afraid of snakes too. I'm sorry, I haven't been given a chance to talk very often. But you didn't say what happened to you. Are you all right?
They followed me. I didn't even make it to the bottleneck. I don't think they meant to hit me, but my leg, it doesn't stop hurting no matter what I do.
What happened?
They didn't mean to. I know they didn't. One of them shot me and it hit my leg. It's just a graze, but it hurts. I don't want to die here. None of this should have happened, and now I'm going to...
You're not going to die.
Why not?
I won't let you. I've been on my own for quite some time now. And don't think you can leave me lonely again by dying.
I don't think you can stop me.
I've been here for much longer than you have. Do I look dead to you?
No, you look tired.
Well, exhaustion and death are two very different things, aren't they?
Lucius nodded, looking up at Aurora and cracking something that may have been a smile had it not been halted by the bruising of his face.
It's a pleasure to meet you again, Lucius. Don't worry about the Dravara. Everything is going to be just fine, all right?
He extended a hand to the boy, leaning down so Lucius didn't have to move.
Thank you.
What for?
Hope. Sometimes hope is the best thing you can give.
Small wasn't the right word to describe her. Curly-headed and with a smile that echoed her eagerness without her even having to say a word.
Excuse me, Mum?
You don't have to say that every time you open your mouth.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not used to all this business yet.
Tuffet, how long have you been an officer?
2 years, Mum.
2 years.
I honestly was surprised you chose me to replace Norton. There were plenty of other officers who've been here much longer. Alexandra, you know her, don't you? Oh, I'm sorry, of course you do. She's been an officer for, well, I don't really know how long.
Yes, Officer De Soto is a wonderful officer, isn't she? However, I fear she would have denied the offer, even if I asked. Norton was rather young when he had taken the position before you. I assume you know that, don't you?
It's an honour, Mom, to even be considered. May I ask why you chose me?
I like you, Tuffet.
You do? You can call me Harriet, if you'd like.
I'd rather not.
Of course.
You show potential. And while you are young, just like Norton was, I like the promise you show me.
Thank you, Mom. Is that all you wanted from me?
I normally congratulate them, the new officers, I mean, but you've already been an officer for 2 years, so I don't think that would be necessary. Your name was nominated by a number of others, but I have the final say.
Understood.
No, I don't think you do.
Harriet frowned. The crinkling of her nose disappeared with the smile that had stayed for much longer than Rowena anticipated it ever would have.
Nor do I expect you to. You see, the Dravara are a very important institution, but I assume you already know this. After all, you've been with us for...
5 years this spring, Mum.
You must have gathered just how much we do, how much I do, for the rest of the world. We are the one thing standing between that world and ours, between chaos and a balance no other establishment could manage.
Yes, Ma'am, I understand that, but...
The Dravara are mine to control. It's a fact, and I'm sure we both understand that quite well, don't we?
Yes, Ma'am. And the officers help you in any way we can, but...
No, there is nothing else. You will assist me, and you will listen to my decisions.
Yes, of course, Mum. Would you outline my duties, please?
Norton organised patrols for me. It's something I'm admittedly not very good at. You may choose to pass the duty on to someone else, or take it up for yourself. I would advise you to choose wisely should you do that, though. Few are truly capable of such a feat.
I can do it, Mum.
Of course you can. You're a smart girl. That's why I chose you. I'd like for you to look out for some flaws within our ranks. There are some who would spread some rather nasty-seeming rumours about the Dravara. You know what I mean by that, don't you? Oh, why am I even asking? Of course you do.
You mean people who aren't loyal, I'm assuming. I overheard one of the officers speaking about a boy.
There is no boy!
Right. Of course.
Excuse me, I apologise for that. But the events you heard about didn't happen. There was a misunderstanding, and all things have been remedied.
Are you all right, Mum?
Fine. But do tell me you understand what I've told you. I'm sure you do, but I'd just like to be sure.
I understand completely, Mum.
Ah, Tuffet. I do believe we are going to get along just fine. After all, you and I will be working very closely together now. I offer my compliments to you on reaching this point, but do keep in mind what I've told you. I'm sure you will, won't you?
Why do you do that?
Do what?
You've been walking back and forth for hours. I'm getting tired just watching you.
Sit down. You're not going to heal if you aggravate that leg.
Lucius ignored him, limping towards the bars with teeth gritting together and eyes downcast.
Sit down.
I'm just stretching my legs. Sitting this long can't be good for it anyway.
Do you hear it? The water, it never stops.
I don't hear any water.
It's right there. Why can't you hear it?
I'm sorry. Maybe I just don't hear so well. But what are you doing?
Shh. Thinking now. Be quiet for 5 seconds. You're well worse than Daniel sometimes.
You were friends with him, right? Officer Norton, I mean.
Yes, we were friends. Why are you asking?
Did you get to explain what happened to him when your party got killed?
What are you talking about?
He's gone now, you know. He left the stronghold weeks ago. stepped down from his rank, and when he was strong enough, he left. No one really said why he went. I think he just wanted to go.
Daniel... But he's...
I'm sorry, I thought you knew about it all.
Daniel is alive?
Elizabeth, where are you? No one's hear us. We have to find her. If she's not here, where is she? Get out here.
What sort of idiot do you think I am? Step out so you can step out.
Lucius? Lucius, are you all right?
I can't do this. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten in days, and my leg hurts so badly I want to scream. Just, if you ever make it out of here...
Kid, look at me.
The other prisoner peered up from the ground, dull eyes swollen and still reddened from the tears running down his cheeks.
You are not going to die. Do you understand me?
We both knew what was going to happen. I can't. I'm sorry, but I can't.
Do you have a family, Lucius?
My father turned me in for running away about a year ago. My mother disappeared when I was 7, and I don't have any siblings. I don't have anything out there.
Your mother loved you very much, didn't she?
Yes. We never found out what happened to her.
Lucius, can I tell you a story?
If you can make it a happy one.
I'm not sure I can promise that, but it's about my family. And I don't talk about them much, but I grew up with an innkeeper. He adopted me when I was very young, so I don't really remember a time before that. He had 2 other kids before me, Elizabeth and Silas. Some days, when I sit in here, I think about them still, and it helps.
Are they still around, your brother and sister?
Yes.
Good. That's good.
One night, the Dravar came to take us. Daniel too, but he showed up just a few months before. He was a runaway too, believe that one or not. On that night, Lucius, things went badly, and some of it was my fault. My brother got shot, and I know that wasn't my fault, but he stayed behind so we could run. We got separated after that, Elizabeth, Daniel, and I. Daniel found me, and we tried to find Elizabeth. And we did. I shot her, Lucius. Not on purpose, but when she came out of the trees, the gun went off in my hand, and she got hit badly.
Was she okay?
For a long time, I didn't know. And I was too scared to find out. She got better, or as well as she could. She wrote me letters, but I haven't read any past the first one. She lived, and that was all the information I could handle.
What about your brother?
I don't know. I know he was arrested, but I guess I haven't heard much since. Daniel mentioned Elizabeth writing about him once. Point is, I fight because I know people who did love me would want me to. They might be gone or far away, but I know what they would want for me.
You know, the Dravara were nice enough for the most part, but I wasn't a person to them. You treat me like a person, like something that matters, you know? And I can't thank you enough, but I can't do this.
I am sorry you're here, but if you can't do it for them, can you do it for me? I don't want to be alone again. If I'm stuck here with anyone, I'm glad it's someone like you.
I don't blame you for yelling earlier. I'd get tired of me complaining all the time, too.
Lucius, you are the best part of being held in this damn prison, which admittedly doesn't sound like much, but it is.
Will you do something for me?
Of course.
Put a bullet in her.
I don't believe that will be too much trouble for me. I was planning on it already. And you're welcome to join me if you would like that. When we get out of this place, that is.
When we make it out of here, they'll wish they never started trouble with us.
Aurora reached his arm through the bars towards the stable boy.
We will cause the most trouble they have ever seen. And I can promise you that. Are you alright?
I feel blurry. Maybe just tired.
I can stop talking.
No, please. I don't like it when it's quiet in here. You know?
I've never been much of a conversationalist, but I'll do my best.
Do you know how to write?
Yes?
I don't.
Are you asking me to teach you?
Maybe just my name. Aurora. I think I'm having trouble with.
Would you like to call me Rory instead?
Yeah, Rory. That's easier.
My sister used to call me that, but just Raw. Back to writing, though. Do you know the letters?
Aurora rooted around on the floor for a stone. Something small and easy for the boy to grip in his hand.
I was learning them. We were supposed to learn our names the next time I went, but I ran away before I could. I know most of them, but some of them are hard to remember, you know?
Here, why don't you just show me what you know? Scratch it into the floor.
I know what it starts with, at least.
Write it then.
Which way does it go again?
To the right. Do you know what comes next?
No.
Think about it. I'm sure it'll come to you in no time.
My head hurts. I don't think I can.
L. U.
I'm shaking. I'm sorry. We can do this.
You're almost there.
Rory.
L. U. C. I. U. S. That's right. You did it.
Like that?
Exactly like that.
How do I spell yours? Gunshot?
No, it's just thunder.
He got to his feet, squinting in the darkness and scrambling to find something to collect the rain in. His feet struck metal, and Aurora reached down, snatching the mug from the ground and setting it down beneath a dribbling crack in the ceiling.
Lucius, look.
Aurora turned, peering through the darkness to where he could barely make out the image of the boy lying there. His face was pale, gaunt, and sickly to the point where he was beginning to look, as horrible as it sounded, like a corpse.
What's that noise?
Rain.
There was a breeze then, cool and slick with rain that fell through the crack above them.
Thirsty?
A little.
Aurora lifted the mug before he moved to the bars between them. He set it down then, reaching as far as he could into the other cell in hopes Lucius could reach it without getting up from where he was slumped against the wall.
Let's hope this storm rips this place apart. Take the mug. It's not much, but maybe it'll lift your spirits a bit.
I don't want to move.
You need it. We don't know how long it'll be until they come back. Take it. You need to drink it, Lucius.
He looked up then, eyes dull and lifeless. His quivering hands took the mug, brought it to his lips, and then set it down again once the contents were drained in an instant.
Better? Here, pass it back.
The boy nodded, shoving the mug closer across the floor.
How is your head?
Hurts.
No, is the fever gone?
Lucius leaned his head against the stone wall.
Feels cold. I don't know.
What is my name?
You know your name.
I know. Can you say it for me?
Rory.
And what's your name?
Why are you asking me questions?
I think I'm starting to forget things. Will you remind me? The cell, it's getting to me.
You know my name. It's Lucius.
Thank you.
Aurora looked down where the mug was before moving to rip off a section of his shirt. finding it tore away easily from the rest of the fabric. The mug filled quickly, and he dunked the cloth inside before passing the scrap between the bars.
Take this, put it on your forehead. Keep leaning against the stone if you can. All right?
I'll try.
Lucius, do you think anything is growing?
It's too cold.
No, it's raining. Have you ever seen the east when spring comes? Did you know rhinethorn blooms?
No.
Lucius, where are we?
Dying.
Normally the rats hide away with a storm like this raging outside. Strange to think they would venture down here.
Rory.
A bowl skid across the floor, some of the contents spilling out before it came to a stop. It was simple, practically tasteless, but it was heavenly. Even the broth itself was hardly anything more than glorified water. The bowl was empty then, and Aurora walked to the bars, hanging his arms outside.
My compliments. I'm talking to you. The least you could do is give me an answer.
The bowl whipped across the room, striking one of the figures in the back before it went clankering to the stone floor. Aurora was grinning when the man turned.
You are a prisoner of the Dravara and will act as such.
Oh, I'm trembling in fear. Shouldn't the Dravara, with all their honor and prowess, be helping someone in need? Or are you planning on letting him die?
He's a traitor to the Dravara and will be treated as such.
As such? You just love saying that, don't you? Am I free to go?
You will shut your mouth, or I'll make sure you don't speak another word.
Aurora frowned, straightening himself to stand on his toes to match the height of the man in front of him.
Are you trying to be funny?
Well, your friends certainly think I am.
The blow struck him in the jaw. Blood dribbled between his teeth as he grimaced, wiping his mouth on his sleeve.
Keep talking. I'll have no trouble reminding you what happens when you run your mouth.
The officer swung again. He was able to sidestep, sticking a foot in the Dravara's path and sending the man sprawling and swearing to the ground.
Remind me again, that was very good.
The man was on his feet again, red-faced and wiping the blood from a split lip on his sleeve. He didn't strike again, turning and stalking back from the cell towards the door.
If you were reminding yourself that you're no better than the floor I piss on, you did a marvelous job.
The officer stopped.
Or was it something else?
Aurora ducked sideways as he swung again, hands still folded behind his back.
Are you even trying? I'm starting to doubt you could hit me even if I stood still. Would you like to try?
I don't need to prove anything to you.
Are you afraid you'll miss?
Rory.
You're a damned menace, you hear me?
If you intend on offending me, start by telling me something I don't already know.
I've heard just enough out of you. You three, take care of him.
I've had worse odds.
Aurora saw Lucius pull himself up by the bars, staggering to his feet and resting his weight entirely on one leg.
Leave him alone.
Shut your mouth, pup. Do I have to teach you a lesson in respect too?
If my lesson is as good as his, I won't stand a chance.
As soon as the last word left his lips, Aurora shot forward. He was caught by two of them, hauled backwards into his cell easily as the others advanced towards the cell just beside him. A fist was slammed into his stomach, and he doubled over, feet slipping on wet stone beneath him.
Please! He's delirious. He doesn't know what he's saying.
He was struck again in the gut, silencing him as his arms were wrenched further behind his back.
Do what you want with me. Leave the boy alone.
Lucius glanced over at him, eyes glazed just as they were before, but missing something, void of fear. He pulled himself up further, relying heavily on the bars between the two of them to keep himself standing.
Well, what do we have here?
Lucius, don't talk!
He's been brave this whole time, for both of us. I can be brave too.
Lucius, stop!
Shut up!
Do your worst. I'm not afraid anymore. Rory.
Lucius, I'm here. Lucius, can you hear me?
I'm sorry.
Why are you sorry? You did nothing wrong. This is my fault.
Got us in trouble.
I started it. Do you really think I care about getting in trouble? Trouble is my middle name.
Liar.
You're going to be all right, Lucius. Can you take my hand? We're going to make it out of this, all right?
They got us good. Aurora.
Lucius, what's your full name? My birth name is Evander Callion, but it's been Aurora since I was little. Started as a bit of a joke, but it stuck. Have I told you that story?
Your name is Rory, not Evander. Lucius Crowswood. That's mine. I'm tired, Roar. Tell me later.
Look at me, Lucius. Open your eyes. I need you to keep me awake. Understand? Lucius, I am tired too, but I need you to keep me from falling asleep. It's better for both of us if we just stay awake. All right? Can you tell me what color my hair is, Lucius? I think I've forgotten.
Brown, I think.
Is it long? It has to be longer by now.
It is.
And my eyes, what color are they?
Too many colors. I don't know.
Have you ever seen a beetle wing? My sister used to say they look like those. What do you think? Lucius, keep me awake, all right?
Why?
Tell me to keep my eyes on you. Please, just do it.
Keep your eyes on me.
Good. We're going to be just fine.
Do you remember when I told you about hope?
Of course, Lucius. I promise you, everything is going to be all right.
Just don't leave me, please. I'm scared.
I'm not going anywhere. Lucius. Lucius?
Hi there. Thanks for listening and supporting our project. You can find us on Twitter @Rifted Podcasts. Also on Patreon at patreon.com/Rifted Podcasts. Please allow me to introduce our cast. Aurora, Justice Hart. Daniel, Adam Betts. Rowena, Elizabeth Plant. Harriet, Mimi Brown. Lucius, Ryan Krumby Keller. Elizabeth, Jenna Kate. Narrated by ChristopherK. Sound design and editing by Kristina Manente. Written and directed by Emmett Brewer. Composer Joshua Hartshorn. Extras Emi Ray Dan. Thanks for listening.